Okay, so let's quickly go through this example. It says point O is the center of the circle, so that's right there. And CD is a tangent to the circle. So we know that it hits only at one point, and that's right there. So, and that is true of the line CD. Okay, it's tangent to the circle. We know that CD is 15 centimeters as it's labeled, and OD, which is this line here, is 20 centimeters. Determine the length of the radius. OC, radius is always the line from the center of the circle to the outer edge of the circle. Okay, so there's my radius there, and that's what we're trying to figure out. So I'm going to label that guy X. Okay, and then it asks us to give the answer. Now, when I see I have a triangle and I know two of the sides and I need to find the third, that makes me want to use the Pythagorean theorem. But you can only use the Pythagorean theorem if you know it is a right angle. Okay, and from watching the videos above, we learned that the relationship between a tangent line and its radius, they are perpendicular to each other. And perpendicular means that they are right, that it's a right angle. So it's 90 degrees to each other. So now that I know that, okay, I can go, oh, I'm good to use the Pythagorean theorem then. Oh my gosh, that's a terrible square. Okay, so if it's a 90-degree angle, then I can use my Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. So I'm going to be using a squared plus b squared plus, equals c squared. My a squared, I'm going to use the x. It doesn't matter for the sides. So a squared plus my b squared. My b is going to be 15 squared because I know my hypotenuse is always the side across from that right angle. So I know that this OD is actually my hypotenuse. So that is my C in the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so from here, all I need to do is then just solve for x. So I have x squared plus 15 squared is 225. 20 squared, I know 2 squared is 4, and 10 squared is 100. So that would make this 400. Okay, then I'm going to isolate my x. So I'm going to subtract 225 from one side, and I need to balance the two sides. So I'd have to do the same to the other side. So I would get x squared equals 175. Okay. And from last unit, I already know how to solve this, how to undo this squared here by square rooting it. So I'm going to, what I do to one side, I have to do to the other in order to keep them equal. So that square root undoes the squared. So I'd just be left with x equal to, and at this point, it says give the answer to the nearest tenth. So I know it's okay for me to put it as a decimal. Okay, so I'm going to plug that into my calculator and make sure I round appropriately. So it ends up being 13.2, and the hundredth number is 2, so I wouldn't round up. And the tenth is just to one decimal place. So that would be my solution. All right. Hope that helped. Bye.